Hey guys, this is Joe, founder and host of Startuprad.io. As you guys may already know, I've run this podcast full-time since January 2021. I'm very happy to announce that Anchor FM is my sponsor for this podcast. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free and it's easy to use, even for a newbie. They're creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Hey everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Startuprad.io, your podcast show with startup news and interviews from Germany.
So, hello and welcome everybody. This is Joe from Startuprad.io. Today I'm not in my small and cramped study, but rather we are here in lovely Frankfurt at Deutsche Bank. We are actually in the digital factory of Deutsche Bank. And just that I'm not alone, I brought some backup from a new joiner from the Startup Radio team. Could you briefly introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Joris. I'm just helping out Joe in his new initiative, and I'm really proud to be a part of this team because I've seen this guy work so hard and wanted to lend a helping hand. Oh yeah, and I've been a technology consultant in my past life.
And we do have here two people that host us. Would you guys introduce yourself briefly to our listeners?
So hi, my name is Joris Hensen. I'm the project manager for the DB API project. That is the project to build the API platform, and we just launched the platform with our API hackathon. And I think you also had some interviews with the winners of the hackathon already on the podcast.
Yes, and also hi from my side. Welcome to lovely Frankfurt. Happy to have you here. My name is Pohlgeers. I am a member of Deutsche Bank, and I am in the business division that we call Private Wealth and Commercial Clients. And in that division, I am a member of the digital innovation area. And in that area, amongst other activities, we are in the process of expanding our product and service portfolio and offerings by adding new, as we say, near banking and also beyond banking products to the offerings to our clients, in order to therefore move into new business models and new fields also of revenue generation.
And we hear from a reason, because originally I've been approached by you guys due to this hackathon here, API Open. The viewers cannot see it, but it took place in Berlin in the fall of last year. And actually there is some follow-up on this, and that's the reason why we're here today. You talked already about API Open. Can one of you guys tell our viewers here what it's actually all about? Can you just elaborate a little bit on the API Open?
Sure. So the API Open was a 3-day hackathon that took place in Berlin, as I said, at the end of October last year. Mm-hmm. And the idea was that for the very first time we introduced our API to developers outside Deutsche Bank. We did this hackathon to get feedback from the teams. We wanted to understand if the functionalities we've implemented, because we started with a set of basic functionalities, we wanted to further grow with the philosophy to understand what the need is. So we really focus on the need. That was why we did the hackathon. Additionally, we were looking for nice innovative projects, and as Frank said, in particular for rather beyond banking products and ideas.
And you've now always been talking about products and ideas. What does it actually mean for the people out there? Like, is it you're now buying products from other people? Are you opening Deutsche Bank a little bit to other products and services? What does it actually mean for the people out there?
Together with the API Open Hackathon, we also introduced our developer platform. So the idea is that the developer platform is now out there. You can register to the platform, and there you find the API documentation and all the API functionalities available. And the idea is, with regard to your question, is that we open up these functionalities for others to implement it within their products. Yeah? So the idea would be that or what we would like to see is a lot of innovation coming from the outside, leveraging our banking functionality, and probably being more near banking in the beginning, but then progressing towards solutions that no one would have expected.
So that basically means we're here today because Deutsche Bank is opening themselves via an API to startups, to fintechs out there.
That's true in a way, and right now we are working with the API open winning teams, because they were the first ones. How also this, while developing the product, how can we build a partnership out of this, and how can we actually launch products also together? Not sure if you would like to add something on this.
No, that's exactly right what you said. We were very impressed with the level of quality according to what those teams presented during the API Open on the final day in the pitching session. And we are now continuing on a very detailed level with those winning teams in order to really find out in detailed discussions also with our internal experts here from Deutsche Bank in Frankfurt, how and by when, in which structure we might concretely work together and do business together in the near future.
So right now you're working with some of the teams we did interview, like Twins, like Wire, and who am I forgetting? Twins, Wire, and Finchild, of course. And you're right now working with them, and you're working on a program to open this API actually up to other startups out there. Yes?
Yeah, well, the thing is, right now already everyone can register to the developer portal and start using the API, start to build a first prototype of an idea. So that's already out there. But what we're focusing on right now is also to develop like a general terms of conditions model, so that while we work with a startup, we have also a set of general processes and contracts available that will allow us a faster integration, because it's not just about the technology integration.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I see. And talking a little bit about this developer portal that developers outside of Deutsche Bank can use, is there like a limitation? You can only use it when you're a startup in Germany, when you're in the European Union, or you're open globally?
All right. The developer portal itself, everything is available in English, so you can use it outside Germany too. But because we have started with a focus on the German markets, the functionalities are rather focused on a German retail site. Mm-hmm. So that's the only drawback from an international perspective. But we are also, I think we're also going to add new functionalities in the future. So in theory, it's open to everyone, and there has been this fintech week in Singapore, for instance, where we had a lot of registrations coming from that end too.
Okay, I assume, and the weather was better in Singapore, because right now in Frankfurt we do have snow. What are you actually requiring from all the people in order to get access to this developer portal? I mean, you said they all can like register, but what do you require that they can actually really use it? And as you said, it's focused on the German market with the retail focus, so that means you usually will have something like retail accounts, current accounts, savings accounts, and credit cards?
Well, yeah. So what the functionality we are offering right now, transactions for an account, and also account details. So that's how we started. Everyone can just register through our developer.db.com portal. I think it's a really simple, straightforward registration on there. You just have to fill out a simple form, then you can start testing and working with the API. So there's no further hurdle in using and working with the simulator.
Okay, I see. And how does this developer portal actually work? What is it on a technical basis for all the people right now out there who are thinking, oh, maybe I can use it, but what is this actually? That people outside can determine if they could use it, if they could work with it. What is it on a bit technical level?
That's for sure a question for you.
So yeah, from a technical perspective, the API is a REST API. We are using JSON as a response point. And basically the developer portal, along with the documentation, allows you to do simple API calls. So you can, along with the documentation, it's all based on Swagger.
Okay.
So along with the documentation, you can receive real responses. So this works with JavaScript, so you can test the functionalities, understand how they are structured, and get further introductions. Also, in particular, on the authorization, which is based on OpenID Connect and OAuth 2. So what we were trying to do is to work independently of operating systems so that everyone will be able to use it and to work with common formats in ways that everyone is really used to. So it's basically the same if you use the Facebook API and use this API in terms of technology.
Okay. Can I ask a follow-up question for that? Thank you for the explanation. That was like my number one question, SOAP or REST, or what's being used. Can I ask you follow-up questions on that? So is this like custom-made API, or are you using a backend, maybe like Adobe Digital Bank digitalization, or have you built it from the ground up yourself?
While we focus on certain frameworks, like the one like OAuth 2, all of the rest we build ourselves. Because we wanted to start in a lean way, we were looking into some platforms and we decided to start ourselves with building our own API framework.
Okay. And the developers who are interested, do you have a sandbox set up for them so they can play around, maybe a dummy login, dummy transaction, so they want to try out?
Right, I certainly missed out to mention this other very important piece of information. That's something you can also find on the developer portal.
Okay.
We put a lot of effort in the test data in particular. So we were developing certain personas that we could imagine of users, and the test data is actually reflecting their behavior.
Okay.
So for instance, we have a student persona, and this guy will have a different spending patterns than an older guy, for instance. So there's enough information and data to work and develop a real prototype.
Thank you for that. Now, you mentioned that currently your focus is on retail banking. However, I can imagine that you might be looking forward to extending it to, let's say, wealth management, private wealth management, maybe creating like a dashboard for your wealth management clients. Is that something that you will be focusing on in the recent future, or is that something that's still far away, or you've not planned it yet, but maybe in the future, or is that in the plans? Is that in the pipeline?
For sure, we already think about those things, because it's pretty important also in terms of developing the API further. Right now we are rather, short term we are looking into further retail functionalities, because I think in particular if you look, for instance, at the winning teams, what they require, there are a couple of other things we want to add first of all, like for instance the function of transferring money and stuff like this.
Okay. Maybe if I can probe into the partnership models that you're looking for with the startups. So what partnership models do you have? Are you looking forward to having the startups develop a product and then maybe look into like an acquisition, or are you going to let the developers develop the applications and put them on the app store somewhere, put them integrated into maybe sell it to other social media parties who can integrate it into Deutsche Bank? And so is it based on acquisition of these products developed, or is it based on like creating like an ecosystem where the developers can make their own product, they own their own product, but somehow you're creating an ecosystem just to give the consumer or your clients the benefit of having these interfaces that can be used in social media? And my follow-up, if depending on the model that's being used, how will you manage the login? And will there be different interfaces? Let's say Facebook login different, and let's say 10 developers create their own apps. They have to log in everywhere. Is there like a single sign-on functionality that you're thinking about?
So okay, you want to answer the partnership question first?
Oh, why don't you do the login and then?
Okay, we start with the login. All right. So right now the login is based on the online banking login that we have. We did that because we are assuming that those customers are already there's already a wealth of clients to target. Yeah. What we plan to do is to further extend this, because what you just mentioned, it's a great opportunity to also have other opportunities to log in.
Mm-hmm.
In particular, if you are thinking about targeting clients outside Germany.
Right.
So this is another functionality for sure include that.
Okay.
So, and with regard to the partnership models?
As far as partnership models are concerned, we very much believe in establishing an ecosystem based on a platform approach, which means at the end of the day that we are very much interested in partnering with startups, with third parties, in order to establish banking-related, near banking-related, but also beyond banking-related products and offerings to our clients, which makes us at the end of the day more relevant to the clients in the best case on a daily basis. Can we say at this point in time if we do believe in acquisitions, etc. as well? Do we have the one and only way how we want to do this? No, I think we are still at an early stage here. At the end of the day, I would say everything is possible. Are we primarily looking at acquisitions? At this point in time, no. Does that mean that we do not want to do any acquisition within the next 2 years? No as well. So we need to wait and see what's out there and what possibilities do we have. But again, I think partnering with innovative startups and third-party companies is something that we do believe in very much. And this is why we believe that this is the right way to offer a new kind of products and services portfolio to our clients in order to bring our client journeys, our client experience into a new dimension.
I think that also relates to a fundamental way how we all designed the API and everything we did. Yeah, is to start simple. We had a lot of meetups and meetings with startups as well. So to really build something also together and not say, well, we thought this might be a great model that works for all the cases, but also to find individual solutions and to build it together.
Right.
I would have a few more questions. You've been talking about creating an ecosystem. I'm right now aware that there are somewhere between 30 and 50 fintech startups in Frankfurt alone. Would that be something you would already consider an ecosystem, or are you looking for something like a bigger number, like a few trillion or something? What would be the number you're looking at? And also, I would be curious what your understanding of the near banking products is that you've already mentioned.
First of all, given the fact that, as I said, I'm talking about banking, near banking and beyond banking products and services, we do not limit our scope to fintechs only. In many cases, when banks or players in the financial services industry are talking about cooperations with tech companies, it always mentions fintechs all the time. And that's the moment when I said, we are not interested in looking and talking to fintechs only. Especially from an ecosystem point of view, we are actually more interested in talking to non-fintech startups, early stage, medium stage, in order to find out with those guys what else we can offer to our clients, which goes beyond the traditional banking products, such as savings products, loan products, securities related products. So what can we offer on top to that in order to really provide a broader and more complex portfolio of, let's call it, service packages to our clients, which are not limited to the typical, let me call it, boring, traditional, old-style banking products. And that can be beyond banking related, which has absolutely nothing to do with the current traditional product offering. And probably also feedback from that side when we were organizing the API Open, the hackathon event, which had the overall story. Let us know what's your idea on beyond banking related products for Deutsche Bank. Actually, it was a bit a challenge to explain to the external world that we as Deutsche Bank are ready and happy to discuss and to find out together with those innovative startups out there what we can do and what we can offer for our clients from a real beyond banking perspective. And we learned that it is really very important to explain that we are ready to go that kind of major step for a traditional bank like Deutsche Bank to really offer completely non-banking related products, which is really, really innovative in actually a big step also from a mindset, from a spirit, but also our respective group board members and our senior management totally believes in this, which is really interesting and a great help and support for us as well. And now our challenge is to explain to the external world, to those innovative startups out there, where we want to go, how far we want to go, and that we are really happy to offer everything that's beyond banking. Whatever that is at the end of the day, we don't know yet as well either.
Yeah, and with respect to the ecosystem, I think it's more the ecosystem from a client perspective. Yeah, from my point of view, it gets really interesting if products get interconnected. And you as a customer, yeah, have a wealth of opportunities in terms of products you can use and services that are interlinked and provide an additional benefit through this interlink.
Like having a micro savings service for all transaction and then do an automatic savings of this money with another system or stuff like this.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking at? Okay. And I would have a few more questions looking forward. You've been talking about near banking, beyond banking, and there's a lot of access all the startups would then get. How do you make sure your security is fine, and is there some kind of qualifications of due diligence process, application process the startups would need to undergo before they can really join this level of the program?
Okay, I get the security questions. Okay, no, that's exactly, that's a really important point, because that's one of the 3 priorities we have this year. This is what I said in the beginning, that we are building this general terms of conditions. What is the minimum amount of information we require in terms of due diligence, from which we have to create checklists? What is the minimum amount of control function checks we have to do in terms of legal compliance, etc. So right now we are working on this model to make it as easy as possible. And I think it's also going to be like a stretch from both sides. Also like to understand that a bank has certain restrictions, limitations that you can't change. Yeah. So this is also part of understanding each side, but we are willing to do our best.
Mm-hmm.
If I can squeeze in.
Yeah, sure. Squeeze.
Technical question here. So this API, how mature is the API, and like, is it like version X.0, 1.0, 2.0, and how? I mean, do you release like a roadmap in advance? Okay, these are the features available. These are the features that will be available 6 months from now, so that a serious startup founder will say, okay, well, this is where the bank is going, and let's see, they can also plan their releases accordingly and their features accordingly. So how mature is it, and what's the do you have a roadmap, or do you release a roadmap that's every quarter, every 6 months, or something like that?
We just released the version 1 of our API. It's very mature, yeah. So we didn't want to provide any version 1.0. So this one is really a stable version right now in terms of the functionality we already offer. I think it's a valid point to give some perspective to the community what we plan to integrate. Right now we are in the phase of planning this year, and it really will depend on the first product that we want to implement for the first functionalities or for the first additional functionality for this year. What we also plan to do is to further have community events, this API Open Hackathon was a big event, but we also plan to do smaller community events where we also wanted to present perspectives on how the API could further grow, get further feedback. So it will not just be a pure announcement on the website going further, but also like an interaction. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I think it will be a combination of both. Yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful.
And a few more questions on the community events and the beyond banking products, because I would be curious, where will those community events taking place? Like Berlin, like Frankfurt, like Singapore, like Albuquerque, or Sao Paulo? What is the scope of community you're looking into here?
Yeah, we're looking for mass. Yeah. No, I mean because we are still focusing on the German, or the first step will be the German market. Will more likely be Germany than Singapore or Albuquerque, in the first place. Also, we did this event. I know there's a bustling startup scene growing in Frankfurt, so I think it's not a decision for one or the other, but rather an approach where we can combine things. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I would be also curious about the beyond banking products you've been talking about, because if you said we are willing to go beyond banking, some ideas slip by, like a high-end notebook with the Deutsche Bank logo on it and stuff like this. Are there some products you would like certainly rule out that you would not do, or you would say, okay guys, there's an email here in the show notes of this video and just reach out to us?
As far as going beyond banking is concerned, I think in general the sky's the limit, and there's a huge set of opportunities out there, given the fact that we have in our home market in Germany more than 6 million retail clients with huge amounts of data, static data, transactional data that's, as we say, KYC, which means that all the data has undergone a New York client process, so the data is of high quality. And therefore, we have, from my point of view, a lot to offer. But one always has to keep in mind that we, as a large traditional bank, are in a very highly regulated environment, which, from that point of view, also probably limits the scope of applications that can be coded or used against our API. To put it in some general words, what don't we do? We don't want to do anything that somehow would have negative impact against our reputation as Deutsche Bank. I think that's an easy one. And one always has to keep in mind that every time a third party, a startup, would use our client-related data for their own value chains in order to establish new products and services, our clients, every single client explicitly has to agree this and to give a sign off that the external party is allowed to use the client's related data. So also from that perspective, given the fact that we need to protect our reputation and that we are regulated anyway, we need to make sure that we only do stuff and applications and services that our clients like, that our clients agree on in order to allow their data to be used respectively. And I think that already gives quite a good idea on what is possible and what probably won't be possible, given the fact that we need to do detailed checks, especially with our legal and data protection department.
And the main reason for that being that there is a high level of data protection given by law in Germany. I would just have, like, for the final sprint, a little bit more the question, okay, everybody out there now has some kind of an idea where you're going. We also know that there will be follow-ups, hopefully with us, and we now know what you have to offer. But what I did not especially get is why they should go for Deutsche instead of any other program, any other API.
So I think what startups get out of a cooperation with us is that, in particular, for instance, that goes to the winners of the hackathon, is that they will be the first ones to give feedback to us and develop in the API in a direction that it also matters for their products. And then for further startups that will cooperate with us, I think it's really this openness of going the way together. And in addition to hard facts like what you mentioned, the amount of clients we have and the data we have got. And this is just the retail side of the coin, but also looking at transaction banking and other areas of the bank, there's really further potential. And what we've seen at the hackathon was that, for instance, the experts from the control functions, compliance, legal, and all the other functions we've had, they really provided valuable input in terms of important knowledge that, for instance, for fintechs is also very important, not just if they cooperate with us. And then we have, on the other hand, we have the startup teams all over Germany that work with startups in close cooperations for Deutsche Bank products, but also beyond, helping to tap the network and to work on stuff like the first business plan of a startup. So we also plan to really combine several offerings we already have and have something, I don't know, call it a pioneer center, really experienced guys that will work from the startup with startups from the beginning, not just from a technical perspective, but also from a business perspective. Not sure if you would like to add something.
Yeah, and I think in addition, probably it might be one of our USPs, at least in the German financial industry services world, that our team and everybody who's dealing with API and open banking has a certain degree of passion. We have dedicated teams taking care of this. We have effective, skilled people who can be the counterparts for all those startups out there in order to do business with us. So it's not just an API. It's not just a platform. It's really a lot of really, from my point of view, cool, passionate, dedicated people with the right spirit in order to bring this business forward together with you guys out there, and also to develop new features of our API probably together with you, and to work and to use your innovation and your ideas as well in order to bring our business forward and to implement joint new business models and value chains.
And I think just to add to this question, it's not just what Deutsche Bank brings in, but also what partners of Deutsche Bank bring in. Yeah, for instance, we have this partnerships with Axel Springer, Plug and Play, and they've offered the hackathon winners to pitch in the final draft for the next year's batch. I think this is also a great opportunity.
I have a question. Maybe it's too early to say, but since Deutsche Bank has been the pioneer in this particular open API initiative, and looking at you, other banks might also be opening up their part of their system, part of their APIs. Have you thought of having a standardization? Maybe like having like an open API, but open banking API that is maybe universal for all the banks in Germany, and that will make the life for startups a lot easier. And maybe it can also put you in a leadership position. So a consortium of banks that say, this is a standard we're going to follow, and using this API, it's universal. Whichever bank, whichever app you choose the bank, and you plug and play with it.
All right. Okay. Now I think from a startup perspective that definitely makes sense. From our perspective, it's just a matter of focus right now.
Right.
So I mean, it's not a straightforward initiative, and as you said, like as a pioneer, it's like traveling to Mars. No one has been there before, so you have to do it for the first time. And what you probably can't see on the outside is that it's also like a change initiative on the inside.
Right.
So the amount of effort it takes to move this along,
Yeah.
to get new functionalities out there, this requires time, and this is why we plan to focus on delivering the first products before thinking about other stuff.
Right, of course. Thank you for that. That was just by chance, have you thought about it? Do you have any plans? I didn't really think that, you would have, Deutsche Bank, I mean, of course, in such huge, complex organizations, doing such innovative stuff takes a lot of effort, and a lot of meetings, and a lot of pushing people around and requesting people, pleading. So, but anyway, I mean, I realized it was a tough question, but thank you for answering that. I think I could go on and on with my questions, but I think we should probably wrap this up. So, Jörn, why don't you do the honors?
Well, to officially wrap this up, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for the very interesting interview. And hopefully we'll hear soon about new advances, new approaches.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was great for having you here. I really appreciate the chance and to introduce you to our idea. I'm really looking forward to this year, because this year will be about the first products that we launch on our platform and new functionality. And all I can say from my perspective is we are really serious about this. The team is really serious about this. It's really a nice team of great people, really enthusiastic, and it's really like I would say like an internal startup we are having here. So I'm looking forward to meet any other.
Who should they contact? Just sign up on the
Frank.
No, also thank you from my side. Thanks for coming over. Hope to see you guys here again soon. And can only also say that we are really passionate about it, and looking forward to what's going to happen in 2017. Whatever kind of feedback you guys have, let us know. We are very much interested in interacting with you and in getting your guys' view on this and our API, and on your ideas on how probably we could do business together. Therefore, let us know, and let's get in touch.
Yeah, so you guys are gonna find the description, more details about the links, the email addresses, and the right people to contact in the description of the podcast.
That's it all, folks, for today. Thank you.